That night, my wife Rachel and I had just put our 6-year-old daughter back to bed. She's like all kids really, always wanting to stay up as long as possible, without even thinking of the consequences on her little brain. I suppose she's always been a bit stubborn, but every night she just has to put up a huge fight at bedtime. Whatever, she was in bed, that's all that mattered. I was already having a pretty shit day at work and just wanted to go home, chill out, have a beer or two, but the whole ordeal just kind of put a damper on those plans. So I just sat down at the kitchen table and flipped open my laptop, just intending to check my email and do some work stuff. The kitchen window is positioned in such a way to where we can see the neighbor's backyard. We didn't really know the family that well, and they just moved in only about a month or two before. They seemed like nice people though. Mom, dad, 2 little children, who were about Beck's age. Anyways, I was typing away on my laptop when I swear I heard some faint noises, like heavy breathing or something outside. I didn't really think about it much at first, thinking it was just the wind. I was incredibly tired and probably just hearing things. Not a first for me. But it just kept going and going. And when I began hearing loud rummaging and banging outside, I just had to get up and take a look. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to see anything extraordinary, just the wind, a tree branch rubbing against the house, or both. But when I looked outside, I didn't see anything. Not in our yard, at least. Our neighbors had their backyard lights on, and from what I saw, I couldn't make out any of its details. It was the shadowy outline of something big. I just assumed it was a fox or coyote or something like that. Right then, I was thinking to myself it was harmless. Just an animal wandering through a neighborhood, wanting some food. I can't believe how right I was. I watched it move around their backyard. It seemed to be on all fours. I guess I was in some kind of tired stupor, because Rachel came into the kitchen and startled the hell out of me with the question, "What are you doing?" I told her to come watch, that there's a cool animal outside. But when she came over to look, and I turned back to it, the animal's standing up on 2 legs. And it stood like that for a while. Initially, we were both pretty amazed. What kind of animal was this? But that was just it. We started to think, what kind of animal was this? Just to clarify, this thing was gigantic. About 7.5 feet maybe taller. It just stood there for a second, and then it turned to its side. It made out a long snout, 2 large ears, and a wide eye that was now looking in our direction. I could see it squint at us, then it turned its head back towards the neighbor's house. I definitely knew that we were looking at it. Looking back to Rachel, I could see that she was shaking a lot. And yeah, I was beginning to shake with fear as well. What the hell was that? It was definitely not a person in a costume or something. No costume, no matter the quality, looks as realistic as that thing. I saw something swoosh near it, kicking up a little dirt and wood chips. It had a big, long tail. God, we didn't know what to do. We were too scared to move or do anything, really. I really wish I wasn't, though, because I saw it walk very strangely over to a window. I tried to think of what window it was, but then I remembered. We went over to their house when they first moved in. They invited Rachel, Beck, and I over for dinner. Beck was playing in that room. That's their children's room. The creature stood looking through the window, just staring. Even though its back was towards us, we could see something dripping out of its mouth onto the ground. It was a clear, viscous liquid. It was drooling. It cocked its head, and that's when we heard the faint screaming of the children on the other side of that window, knocking us out of our trance. "Call the police," my wife told me. And I did. I grabbed my phone and began to dial 911. For a brief moment, I looked back outside, and what happened next was just unreal. Not a single detail I could ever put into words. The creature was focused on what I assumed to be one of the children inside, slowly bobbing its head up and down, a long, gross-looking tongue flopping out of its mouth. And then started bobbing faster and faster and faster until it made this sickening, high-pitched, squeaky screech that almost sounded like laughter. It began banging and clawing on the window, shattering the glass without any effort and trying to squeeze its way inside. The thing was frantic, insane, it was determined. I heard more screaming on the inside, but that was overpowered by Rachel yelling at me to finish calling the police. I tried to collect myself and spoke to the operator on the other end, cutting him off every other sentence to tell them there was an intruder, if you will, breaking into the neighbor's house. Immediately they sent the police, but when he asked for a description of the intruder, you'd think I just told him an unfunny joke. He did not believe me in the slightest. I stayed on the line with him, but God damn, it was rough. Because the fucking carnage I heard inside my neighbor's house was terrible. I heard the sound of ripping, tearing, bumps and knocks, things being broken and smashed. I could literally see the walls of the house shaking from where we were. I think I heard a gunshot ring out, but only one. Look, we're in kind of a semi-rural area, so yeah, we have guns. The creature shrieked so loudly, like a pig let loose from a slaughterhouse. I shuddered and shook with it. It literally lasted maybe 20 or 30 seconds at most, but it felt like a lifetime. Then it all just stopped. Stopped like you just press pause on a movie. I swear to God, I saw blood and guts, I don't know, splash all over the children's window that the creature made its way through. I had a gun, a pistol, but what the fuck was I gonna do? Be the hero? This wasn't the time. I knew they were dead the second the creature got in. I wish I did something, though. Anything at all to save them from their grisly fates. And now I have to live with that. Yeah, it's a fucking fox or coyote, a harmless animal. In the middle of all that, Rachel and I heard a voice behind us. It was Beck, clutching her blanket and one of her stuffed animals. Mommy? Daddy, what's happening? Immediately, Rachel told her to go back upstairs, and I told Rachel to go with her and don't come back down until I say so. They immediately complied. I heard Rachel try to comfort her as they went up the stairs, as much as she could anyway. After a few moments, during that brief period of silence, I could hear something over at the house scratching across their floor, like if he took 30 knives and dragged them across the wooden floor all at once. I don't know how I heard it, but that's when I saw the creature burst out of their back door on all fours like a fucking bullet. The door was literally knocked off its hinges and glass went everywhere. It moved across the backyard, but before it did, it turned back to me. I could see it better now. It looked like a rat. A huge fucking rat. It was covered in blood and sinew, head to toe, and for a brief moment I think I saw its long mouth curve into a smile. I heard sirens in the distance, and when they got onto our street, the rat turned and ran into the night, leaving behind bloody footprints. When the police arrived, they slowly approached the house and shined flashlights through the windows. I saw their eyes widen, the hesitation in their faces. And when they actually went inside, I heard the shock and terror. One of them ran outside and vomited everywhere. I was the one that talked to them, mainly because Rachel couldn't stop crying. I told them the truth and nothing but the truth. I knew they thought we were crazy, but they didn't exactly care at the moment. The police made it seem like it was an animal that got inside, and I think they honestly just wanted to forget about it. I mean, seriously, what kind of fox, coyote, or whatever does that to a family? In a house, in a populated neighborhood. That never happens. What I do know is that they did not question it anymore and took it from there. And I'm glad they did, because I couldn't bear to stomach the bloody entrails leaking out of the front door any longer. The police said that what we saw was absolutely bizarre. We found out everything, whether we wanted to or not. I'm not going to go into it, but it was exactly the way you're thinking. It really fucked me up. God, I have to live with this. What I saw is burned into my memory. I have to live with knowing what happened inside of that house. I had to live with the guilt that I could have done something. That if I wasn't too scared and just grabbed my fucking gun, went over there and shot that fucking thing, or died trying and giving a decent enough meal of myself, so that I wouldn't have eaten the family or Rachel or Beck, everything would be fine. Would that have changed anything? I don't fucking know. There's one thing about this whole ordeal that I do know. I didn't want the authorities to take the creature to any facility. I don't want it dissected, studied, or anything like that. I just want them to kill it. It's been bad today. It really has. I had an itch and an inkling. Was I the only one? I couldn't be. The media is chalking it all up to some deranged serial killer. I mean, I can see why they think that, but did any of those police officers listen to me about the rat? Will anyone listen to me? I don't know, but I need it. I need someone to listen to me. And I think I found someone. Well, 2 people. I was doing some research on the internet, and by dumb luck, I managed to come across a slew of posts by a user called Sort of Lands, who was trying to spread a story about his encounter with a rat when he was driving home late at night from his girlfriend's house. And unfortunately, his house was raided by it, and his cat was eaten. I think he's having the same problem as me. No one believes him. Some people are saying they can't take it seriously. Others are just making dumb jokes out of it. But I think I'm going to try to get in touch with him.